Come along now. Step quickly out of that biting wind, for the lanterns are already lit, and I've been keeping a keen eye on the lane for you. It is a rare thing to see the woods go so quiet this early in the evening, but the snow has a way of muffling even the sturdiest of boots, hasn't it? Just look at those flakes, thick and heavy as goose down, drifting past the sign of the snowy owl. I've always thought that painted owl looks a bit more pleased with itself when the real winter arrives to match its plumage. You've had quite the trek through those pines, I imagine. The forest track is already half hidden under a fresh white blanket, and the blue of the twilight is deepening into a proper heavy night. But you can leave all that cold and the worry of the road right there at the edge of the porch. I've been out here just a moment ago, tidying the woodpile you see stacked so neatly against the stone chimney. It's good birch and oak, seasoned well through the summer, so it'll hiss and pop just right once we get you settled by the hearth. Can you see the smoke curling up from the pots nestled in that outdoor oven? I find it best to keep a small fire going out here, even when the drifts start to pile up. It lets any weary traveller know from a mile off that the kitchen is awake and the soup is on. There is something so steadying about the glow of leaded glass windows against the dark, isn't there? Those amber squares of light are like a promise that the world inside is still small, warm, and entirely safe from the storm. It's been a long day for you. I can see it in the way you're standing, and I'm just glad the forest let you through before the drifts got too high. We aren't expecting any other soul tonight, so the inn is ours to mind. Just ourselves and the sound of the wind in the high branches of the pines. I've left a lantern out on that barrel by the steps. See how the light catches the frost on the iron? It's a sturdy little thing, much like this house. These walls have held up against 100 winters just like this one, and they aren't about to let a bit of frost bother us now. Go on, give your boots a good stomp on the stone step there. We'll clear away that dusting of white from your shoulders in just a moment. I know the world out there feels very big and very loud sometimes, full of rushing and things that need doing. But none of that can follow you past this heavy oak door. Out here, there is only the silence of the falling snow and the tall, dark trees standing watch. It's a beautiful sight, in its own cold way, but it's a sight best enjoyed from the other side of the glass. I've got the heavy iron latch waiting for us, and once we're through, the cold will be nothing more than a memory or a story we tell while the logs turn to ember. We shall just take one last look at the moon peeking through those clouds. A pale sliver of silver in all that blue. And then we'll leave the winter to do its work while we do ours. There is no rush at all. The snow will keep falling whether we watch it or not, and the trees will stay right where they are. Our only job tonight is to find the warmest corner of the room and stay there until the morning sun finds us. I've already felt the draft beginning to pick up, rattling the dry needles of the pines. So let's not linger in the chill any longer than we must. I'll just gather up this last basket of kindling from the porch, and then we'll head across the threshold together. I'll just hoist this last bundle of firewood under my arm, and we'll get you inside, where the air doesn't bite quite so sharply. The heavy oak door groans just a touch on its hinges. A friendly sort of sound, I always think, as we leave the blue twilight of the forest behind for the golden light of the taproom. Go on and stand yourself right there on the hearthstone. It's the warmest spot in the house, and specifically laid with flat river rocks that hold the heat long after the logs have turned to ash. I'll take that heavy cloak of yours. It feels damp with the melted rime of the pines. But don't you worry. I'll hang it right here by the fire so it's bone dry and smelling of cedar by morning. It's a fine, sturdy room, isn't it? My grandfather built these beams from the very oaks that stood where the stable is now. And they've got a way of making a person feel small, but entirely looked after. You can hear the snow brushing against those leaded window panes. A soft hush, hush sound. But it can't get in here. In here, we have the scent of dried lavender and rosemary hanging from the rafters, and the steady, rhythmic ticking of the long case clock in the corner. I've already pulled this stool close to the blaze for you, the one with the smoothed seat that's seen many a traveller find their peace. Sit yourself down and let the thrum of the house settle your mind. There's no one else coming through that door tonight, so we've no need for haste or ceremony. The taproom is quiet, just the way I like it when the first big snow of the season arrives. I've left the candles flickering on the tables. See how the light dances in those pewter tankards? It's a gentle sort of light, much kinder than the sun, and it doesn't ask anything of you but to watch it. I'll just be a moment over here by the shelves, tidying a few of the ceramic mugs. I find the clink of stone on wood to be a very grounding thing when the world outside is turning white and wild. Do you see the way the steam is just starting to rise from the kettle hanging over the fire? It's a blackened old thing, iron forged and heavy, but it sings a beautiful tune when the water starts to dance. We aren't in any rush to get to the evening chores. The night is long and the wood is plenty. I like to think of this room as a kind of island in the middle of the dark woods, a place where the clocks slow down just a little bit. There's a stack of old books on that table to your left, their leather covers worn soft by hands just as tired as yours. You don't have to read them, of course. Sometimes it's enough just to know they're there, holding on to their stories while we make our own quiet one tonight. Can you feel the warmth starting to seep through your boots now? That's the hearth doing its work. It's a patient heat. I've always found that the best way to deal with a big, noisy world is to focus on a very small, quiet one. Like the way the soot patterns form on the back of the chimney, or the way the dried herbs sway ever so slightly when a draught wanders past. I'll just reach up and adjust these bundles of thyme. They've dried out nicely over the last week. The smell is wonderful when the heat hits them, isn't it? Like a memory of a summer garden tucked away for a winter's night. We'll keep the lamps low tonight. There's no need for a bright glare when the fire is doing such a fine job of painting the walls in amber and shadow. You just stay right where you are. Rest your head back if you like, and let the flickering shadows on the ceiling be your only map for a while. I'm just going to move these heavy mugs to the lower shelf so I can reach the tea canisters more easily. Everything has its place here, and everything is exactly where it ought to be. I'll just linger here a moment more, making sure the draft isn't coming through the window seals too strongly, and then we'll see about tending to that fire properly. I'll just reach for the iron poker leaning here against the stone, and we'll give these logs a bit of a turn to let the air breathe through them. It's a rhythmic kind of work, tending a fire, much like the forest itself, slow, steady, and needing just a touch of patience to get things right. See how the sparks jump and dance when the iron meets the bark. They remind me of the tiny fireflies we get in the high summer, though these are far warmer and much shorter lived. I've always found that watching the center of the flame, where the blue meets the bright orange, is the quickest way to quiet a mind that's been running too fast all day. You just keep your feet resting there on that woven rug. It's made of thick sheep's wool and does a fine job of keeping the chill of the floorboards at bay. I've often sat right where you are on nights when the snow is particularly heavy, just listening to the wood groan as it settles. We're in no rush at all to move along. The plan for our evening is as simple as the stones in this hearth. A bit of warmth for the bones, a bit of supper for the belly, and a soft pillow for the head. Nothing more and nothing less. I like to keep the to-do list short when the winter is knocking at the door. I'm going to add one of these thicker oak rounds from the pile here on the right. You can see the rings on it if you look closely. This tree lived a long, quiet life in the valley before it came to keep us warm tonight. It's solid wood, the kind that burns slow and deep, creating a bed of embers that will still be glowing when the sun tries to find us through the drifts tomorrow. I find there's a great deal of comfort in things that take their time. The world outside the forest seems to be in such a hurry to get from one place to the next, but the fire doesn't care about any of that. It only cares about the wood it's been given and the heat it can share. Can you hear that faint whistling? It's just the wind catching the top of the chimney. A lonely sound, but one that only makes the inside feel that much more secure. I've lived in this inn for more years than I can count on both hands, and I've learned that the house knows how to look after itself. Those stone walls are 3 feet thick in places, carved right out of the mountain's ribs. They aren't bothered by a bit of a blow or a few feet of snow. I'll just use the bellows here to give the base a little more life. Whoosh, whoosh. There we go. The glow is catching the underside of the mantle now, showing off those little scrolls and patterns my uncle carved back when the inn was new. I've always loved the way the lantern light over there on the table plays against the window glass. From where you're sitting, you can see the dark shape of the pines against the falling white. But they look more like a painting than a threat, don't they? It's all about perspective, I suppose. When you're out in it, the forest is a vast and a hungry place. But when you're tucked in here, with a fire at your toes, it's just a beautiful, quiet neighbor. I'll just set this poker back in its place for a moment. I find the weight of the iron in my hand to be very steadying, a reminder of the practical, simple things that make a life good. We'll let that new log catch properly before we think about heading toward the kitchen. There's a certain smell that comes when the oak finally breaks, a sweet, earthy scent that belongs only to a winter hearth. I can see you're starting to drift a little, the way your shoulders have finally dropped away from your ears. That's the hearth doing its best work. It's a gentle sort of magic, the kind that doesn't need a wand or a book, just a bit of dry wood and a willing heart. I'll just clear away these few stray bits of ash from the stone with the hearth broom. Every little task is a step toward a restful night, and we're making very good progress, you and I. We'll just watch the flames lick around that new oak for a minute more, and then we'll see what the kitchen has waiting for us. I'll just set the hearth broom back on its hook and lead the way through the archway, for the kitchen is where the true heart of the house is beating tonight. You can smell it already, can't you? That heavy, savoury scent of slow simmering root vegetables and bay laurel that's been filling the rafters since mid-afternoon. Step careful over the threshold. The floorboards here are a bit more worn from a century of busy feet, but they've got a sturdy, dependable ring to them. This room is a bit tighter than the taproom, but it's all the warmer for it, with the steam from the stove softening the corners and making the windows go all misty and white against the winter dark. I'll just move this heavy flour sack out of your path so you can stand near the center island. It's a working room, this, but there's a place for everything, from the bundles of dried sage hanging above the mantel to the rows of preserves tucked away in their glass jars. I've always found that a kitchen is the best place to be when the weather turns foul. It feels like the very walls are doing their part to keep the world fed and safe. Do you see the way the steam rises in those great, slow curls from the black iron pot? That's the supper I promised you. It's been ticking away on the hob for hours, getting thicker and richer with every turn of the clock. I'll just grab my wooden spoon and give it a gentle stir. Scrape, thud, scrape, making sure nothing is catching on the bottom. It's a simple stew, made with the last of the harvest potatoes and some carrots I pulled from the cellar pits this morning. There's something so grounding about the sound of a bubbling pot, isn't there? It's a rhythmic, patient noise that doesn't ask for much, but a bit of time and a steady flame. While I'm at it, I'll just check on the loaf of bread I've got resting here on the floured board. It's still warm to the touch, and the crust has that perfect golden crackle that only comes from a stone oven. I'll just brush a bit of the excess flour from the table so you have a clean place to rest your hands. You can see the moonlight catching the snow through that arched window over the sink, but it feels a world away from the warmth of this stove. I've spent many a night in this very spot, listening to the logs shift in the range while the rest of the inn sleeps. It's a quiet kind of company, the kitchen. Everything here has a purpose, from the copper pans gleaming on their hooks to the little sleeping cat tucked into the shadows by the wood basket. She's got the right idea, I think, finding the warmest patch of floor and staying put until the sun comes back around. I'm going to reach up and pull down one of these ceramic bowls from the dresser. I've always liked the blue patterned ones for a snowy night. They feel a bit more substantial in the hand, don't they? I find the weight of a good, heavy dish to be very comforting when you're tired. We're almost ready to eat, but there's no need to rush. I'll just fetch a clean cloth and wipe down the handle of the ladle. I like to keep my tools tidy, even when it's just the two of us. It's the small, repetitive tasks that make a house feel like a home, I suppose. Can you hear the way the wind is trying to find a gap in the stone? It won't find one. These walls were built to last, and they've seen much worse than this little dusting. I'll just shift these jars of spices a bit closer to the light so I can find the peppercorns. Everything is right where it should be, and we have all the time in the world to get through our evening. I'll just let the stew settle for one more minute to let the flavors truly find each other, and then we'll find you a proper seat at the table. It's been a long journey for you, I know, but you're home now, and the kitchen has everything we need to set the world right again. I'll just slide this heavy wooden chair out for you, as the stew has finally reached that perfect, glossy thickness that only comes from a long afternoon on the heat. There we are. Sit yourself down right here at the head of the table, where the candle flame is steadiest. It's a stout bit of oak, this table, scarred with the marks of 1,000 shared meals. But it's never felt more welcoming than it does tonight, with the snow piling high against the window frame. I've ladled out a generous portion for you into this green glazed bowl. Careful now, it's still sending up a fair bit of steam, enough to fog your spectacles if you lean in too close. Just look at the colour of those carrots. They've kept their sweetness through the cellar winter, and the potatoes have softened until they nearly melt into the broth. I've added a good pinch of the dried thyme we were looking at earlier, along with a few peppercorns for a bit of warmth that sits deep in the chest. Beside it, I've cut a thick wedge of that crusty bread, still warm enough to make the air smell like a summer harvest. Go ahead and take a piece. Use it to catch every bit of that gravy. There is no such thing as being too polite in this kitchen, not when the wind is howling through the pines like a lost hound. I'll just settle myself on the edge of the hearth seat nearby while you eat, keeping my own mug of tea close. I find there's a particular peace in watching someone finally find their appetite after a long day of travel. I remember a winter much like this one, years ago, when a wandering fiddler sought shelter just as the sun was dipping below the tree line. He was so frozen he couldn't even unlatch his instrument case, his fingers as stiff as winter twigs. We sat him right where you are, and I served him a bowl of this very same root stew. By the time he reached the bottom of the bowl, he'd found enough warmth to play us a tune that sounded like the first thaw of spring. It's a wonderful thing what a bit of salt, starch, and firelight can do for a weary soul. You can see the way the candle wax has pooled in the brass holder there, a little golden lake that catches the light. It's a slow-burning wick, meant to last us well into the quiet hours. I've always preferred the flicker of a single flame to the glare of a dozen. It makes the room feel smaller, more intimate, as if the rest of the world has simply ceased to exist for a while. Everything you need is right here within reach. The heavy pewter spoon, the salt cellar carved from applewood, and the deep, hushed stillness of a house that knows it is doing its job. I'll just reach over and move the kettle to the back of the stove so it doesn't boil away to nothing. The hiss of the water is a good companion to the clink of your spoon against the ceramic. I'm in no hurry to clear the table. We'll let the warmth of the meal settle into your bones, working its way down to your very toes. It's funny how the mind stops its buzzing once the belly is full and the feet are dry. All those worries you had out on the forest track, the ones about where you were going or how fast you were getting there, they don't seem to have much standing in a room that smells this good. I'll just give the fire in the range one last poke to ensure the embers stay bright while we finish. You can hear the snow clicking against the glass, a tiny, sharp sound that only emphasizes how thick these stone walls really are. We're tucked away in the very center of the storm's eye, a little pocket of amber light in a great sea of blue. Take your time with that last bit of bread. There's plenty more in the basket if you've a mind for it. Once the bowl is clean and you've felt that first heavy wave of sleepiness start to tug at your eyelids, we'll see about making the climb upstairs. But for now, just breathe in the steam and the scent of the wood smoke, and let the night be exactly as quiet as it wants to be. I'll just stack your empty bowl here by the basin and wipe the crumbs from the tabletop, for the heaviness in your eyelids tells me it's time to seek the sanctuary of the eaves. I'll take up this brass candlestick, the one with the tall taper that casts such a steady, honey-colored light, and lead you toward the narrow stair. The wood beneath our feet transitions from the smooth, worn stone of the kitchen to the groaning, characterful planks of the upper hallway, and you can feel the air grow just a touch cooler as we leave the range behind. But don't you fret, for the room I've readied for you is tucked right under the slope of the roof, where the heat from the chimney stack lingers long into the night. Just step inside this doorway here, and let the quiet of the chamber wrap around you like a second skin. It is a snug little world, isn't it? I've spent the better part of the late afternoon making sure it was just right, and it seems the house has done the rest of the work. You can see the way the slanted timber beams create a sort of wooden tent above the bed, a sturdy frame that's held up against the weight of 1,000 snowfalls. I've already lit the small iron stove in the corner. See the orange glow behind the grate? It's a specialized little heater meant just for this room, and I've set the copper kettle on top so the air stays sweet and damp rather than turning dry and brittle. I'll just move these few books from the rug. I'm afraid I'm a bit of a habitual collector, and the shelves in here are already groaning with old maps and tales of the high forest. You can leave your boots right there on the hearthstone of the stove. They'll be toasty and supple by the time you need them again. I've laid out the heavy wool blankets, the deep green ones that have that comforting weight to them, and topped them with a thick sheepskin throw for good measure. There is a specific kind of safety that comes from being under the eaves while the snow is piling up outside. If you look at the windows there, the ones with the white rime already creeping around the edges of the panes, you can see the forest through the blue dark, but it feels like another world entirely. I'm going to reach over and draw this heavy green curtain just a little to keep any stray drafts from wandering across your pillow. I've always found that the sound of the wind is much more pleasant when it's muffled by a bit of velvet and wool. There is a stack of books by the bed too, if you find your mind still wants to wander before it settles, though I suspect the warmth of the stove will be the only story you need tonight. Can you hear the soft hiss of the steam from the kettle? It's a tiny, rhythmic sound that keeps time with the falling snow. I find it much more reliable than any clock. I'll just adjust the quill and ink on the little writing desk by the window. I like to keep everything in its proper place, even the small things, as it helps the room feel cared for and ready for use. Every corner of this chamber has been built for rest. From the maps tacked to the slanted walls, to the bundles of lavender hanging from the rafters, everything is designed to tell your heart that the day's work is done. You are in a safe harbor now, and the forest can't reach you through the stone and timber. I'll just linger a moment to ensure the stove is drawing properly, making sure the fire is tucked in as safely as you are about to be. We've no need to hurry into the blankets, but I can see you're already looking toward that pillow. It's stuffed with the finest down, and I've aired it out by the fire, so it's as fresh as a spring morning. I'll just set the candle down on the nightstand for a moment while I check the latch on the window. The frost is truly starting to take hold now, painting little ferns and feathers across the glass. It's a beautiful sight, but one best viewed from the warmth of a well-tended room. I'll just move this small ceramic pitcher of water a bit closer to the bed, and then we'll see about that final tuck of the sheets. I'll just set the brass candlestick down on this stone ledge, for the wick is burning steady and true, casting a glow that makes the room feel even more tucked away from the world. You've no need to worry about the cold outside. I've specifically chosen this corner for you because the heavy stone of the windowsill acts like a storage jar for the heat from the stove below. Just look at the way the snow is swirling against those diamond-shaped panes. It's a restless thing, the winter wind, but it can't find a way through the lead and glass. I've always found that watching the flakes tumble through the dark is the fastest way to let the last of the day's tension drift out of your mind. Go ahead and test the give of that mattress. It's stuffed with the softest down we could gather, and I've turned the top quilt back so you can slide right in whenever you're ready. The linen is crisp and smells faintly of the sun and the meadow grass it was dried upon last summer. I've placed a fresh cup of herbal tea right here on the ledge for you. Be careful now, as the ceramic is still quite warm. It's a blend of valerian and chamomile, specifically meant to quiet the buzzing thoughts that often follow a traveler from the noisy towns. I find that a few sips of something warm, taken while watching the quiet forest, is better than any medicine for a weary heart. I've also left a pair of thick, hand-knitted wool socks resting right there on the stone beside your tea. My sister makes those with a double heel, so they're extra sturdy and warm. They'll keep your toes toasty, even if the fire in the stove starts to bank low toward dawn. There's something so steadying about the weight of good wool, isn't there? It's an honest, rustic comfort that doesn't ask anything of you. I'll just adjust the pillow one more time, making sure it's at the perfect angle for you to lean back and watch the frost ferns grow on the glass. It's a strange thing, but the snow seems to fall even more silently when you're watching it from a warm bed. If you look closely at the pine branches just beyond the window, you can see how they're bowing under the weight of the white powder. They're patient, those trees. They know how to wait out the winter, and we should take a lesson from them. There is no urgency in this room, no clocks ticking toward a deadline, and no voices calling for your attention. The only sound is the occasional pop of the firewood in the little iron stove, and the soft, rhythmic sigh of the wind in the chimney. I'll just linger here for a moment more, making sure the curtain is tucked back just enough so you can see the moonlight hitting the drifts. I remember an old story my grandmother used to tell about the great white stag that only appears during the first heavy snowfall of the year. She said he moves through the pines like a ghost made of starlight, and if you're lucky enough to see him, your dreams that night will be full of green valleys and summer sun. I've never seen him myself, mind you, But on a night as quiet as this, it's easy to believe he's out there somewhere, keeping watch over the forest while we find our rest. Everything is exactly as it should be. The bed is soft, the tea is warm, and the world outside is hushed and blue. I've always thought that the best part of a storm is the feeling of being entirely, perfectly missed by it. You are tucked away in a safe harbor, and the night has no more tasks to give you. I'll just check that the brass holder is secure on the ledge, and then leave you to your thoughts and the falling snow. Take a slow breath, and let the scent of the wood smoke and the herbal tea settle your spirit. There's no rush to close your eyes, but once you do, you'll find that the sleep waiting for you is as deep and silent as the forest itself. I'll just take the brass candlestick with me and pull the door to your chamber nearly shut, leaving only a sliver of light to guide you if you should wake, as we begin our slow descent back to the silence of the hearth. The wood of the staircase feels different underfoot now, cooler, more solid, and possessed of a deep, resonant hush that only comes when a house has been fully readied for the night. Down here in the taproom, the world has shifted while we were upstairs. The great roar of the fire has settled into a rhythmic, pulsing glow, and the long shadows have stretched out to claim the corners of the room. I've dimmed the hanging lanterns until they are nothing more than small golden embers suspended in the dark, reflecting softly in the leaded glass of the windows, where the snow continues its tireless, silent work. You can see the forest through the open door. I'll just step over and lean my weight against the heavy oak to latch it tight against the drifts. There we are. The iron bolt slides home with a definitive clack, sealing us in this little bubble of warmth and seasoned timber. The taproom is a different place in this half-light, isn't it? The sturdy benches and the long, scarred tables seem to be huddling closer to the stone chimney, and the pewter mugs on the shelves catch just the faintest glint of the dying flames. I've banked the fire properly now, covering the hottest coals with a thin layer of grey ash so they'll stay alive until the morning, breathing slow and steady like the inn itself. I'll just set this last copper kettle on the small iron stove by the bar. The metal is still warm enough to let out a tiny, thin wisp of steam that curls up toward the rafters. You don't need to listen to me anymore, friend. The day is entirely behind us, and the night is holding its breath, waiting for nothing but the sunrise. My work is done, and yours is simply to let go. Can you feel the way the silence has weight to it now? It's a soft weight, like a heavy woolen rug, pressing down on the noise of the world until everything is muffled and still. I'll just linger here for a moment in the shadows, checking that the last candle on the mantel has guttered out safely. The hearth is low, the door is barred, and the snow has turned the woods into a dream of white and blue. I'll just find my own corner now, by the warmth of the stones, and let the house take over the watch. You are safe. You are warm. You are exactly where you need to be. There is no one on the road, no tasks left in the kitchen, and no voices calling from the dark. Just the slow, patient heart of the inn beating in the embers. I'll just let the silence grow a little longer between my words. Rest well, traveller. The morning is a long way off, and the snow will keep the world quiet for as long as you need. Sleep now. Just sleep. The fire is banked. The night is steady. And all is well.